Welcome, Brony nerds and gamers. My name is Drummy, and this is the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. As I promised in my trailer, we are starting a Let's Play of the Elder Scrolls. I have always been a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls, and as you can see, I've already have quite a bit of my own time put in. Not that much though, which is why I thought it would be really cool to do a Let's Play of Skyrim because for one thing, like I've played enough of it to be very familiar with it, but I haven't played so much of it that I don't know, everything that's going to happen. So, without further ado, let us begin. Of course, we start with our typical beginning loading screen of the Dragonborn. The Elder Scrolls series has been around for a long time, much longer than even I was familiar with it. I, like probably a whole lot of people, learned about the Elder Scrolls when the Elder Scrolls Morrowind came out on the Xbox, way back, way back in the year 2000, or even before. Yikes! I am so old. But from the Elder Scrolls Morrowind came Oblivion, and then of course we have Skyrim. It's a sequel to Oblivion. As you can tell, we are obviously all done up in. Our hands are bound. Can't do anything.
Finally awake.
Yes, I am.
You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us.
Yep, I'm just one of the guys.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along.
It's funny because all of the Elder Scrolls games start you off as a prisoner. Well, most all of them. I don't know about the original like Daggerfall and Arena and Hammerfell games. I think it's just Daggerfall and Arena. But
shut up back there.
You shut up.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
But of all the games that start you off as a prisoner, I like this one the best because it really puts you.
Where are they taking us?
It puts you in the mood of being a at the.
Sovngarde.
Well, I guess as a prisoner.
This isn't happening.
Whereas in before, as a prisoner, like in Morrowind, when you were a prisoner, you were just being released upon special request, and you were just kind of being let loose into a world. And in Oblivion, you kind of escape from prison, and the king, lets you free for your own sake.
Good. Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Dibella, Kinnereth, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
For those of you who are not familiar with Elder Scrolls lore, the Divines are sort of like the Catholic saints of the Elder Scrolls universe. They're just people that were recognized as being very important and that they decided to honor. Of course, in the Catholic Church, those people are usually myths of other religions, cultures, and such.
I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Vilod is still making that.
I'm kind of talking over what he's saying because I've heard this a million times. I think anyone who's ever played Elder Scrolls Skyrim has gone through this beginning many times. And this isn't really the important part, but we are creating a new character for the sake of starting anew. I play with some extra add-ons. When I played my character, I played with some extra add-ons from the Steam Workshop that we won't be using in the game. For anyone who's ever started Elder Scrolls with add-ons or mods, knows that there's a glitch that happens usually with the horse behind you. It sets your own horse off track, and you basically crash into the wall. I'm never really sure which add-on or mod it is, but I've always had that problem. So right now, we don't have any add-ons or mods except for Falskar and the expansions that are official.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
So that's when we get our first autosave.
It's been an honor.
And that's usually where I start my games when I play, is that I start from that point so that I can start all of my mods from there.
Lokir of Rorikstead. No, I'm not a rebel. You can't do this.
Halt!
You're not gonna kill me.
Archers! Anyone else feel like running?
No, not really.
You there. Step forward. Who are you?
Very good question. So, this is the part of the game where you get to choose what race you play. One of the first things you'll see is I'm not playing with any funky or crazy skin packs or add-ons in that nature. I think the original textures of the people of Skyrim and the world of Skyrim is just as fine as it needs to be. I did download a generic high-res pack that I think was included with the version of Skyrim that I bought. So, other than that, I don't really do too much. There's some graphical things that I do, such as HD plants and such, but I try to keep it pretty much as close to vanilla as it should be. Which I've been told that with Falskar, which we will get to eventually, that shouldn't have any effect. I always play as an Imperial, and I kind of want to play as something else, but at the same time, Imperial is just like your good average run-around character that can just do whatever you want. In Skyrim, everything was definitely streamlined, so none of the races are so overly more powerful than any of the others. But for the sake of argument, we're just going to go ahead and go with an Imperial. Since Nords. This is a Nord story, so it would make more sense if I was a Nord. You remember in the beginning, they didn't necessarily say why we were running away from Skyrim. That's kind of a very important question. We were all caught at the border. Orfric was at the border, and that question will come up later on for me. But as far as what I want to do for this Let's Play, I always envisioned that the character for Skyrim was an Imperial that kind of snuck into Skyrim to kind of see what was going on, to learn the truth for himself, and then was heading on back to try to find, I don't know, after seeing the truth of everything, but he got caught up in this. So, we'll just go with that. Click. Okay, I need to do this. There. Let's see. I'll tell you what. We'll come right on back once I'm done, like, adjusting all this stuff. And we're back. Okay, so I decided, since this is a My Little Pony commentary and such channel, that we continue a My Little Pony theme. So this is Celestia. Cool? Is that cool? It honestly will not play much of a role. You will most likely never see her face most of the time, and it really won't matter that much. But we'll just go with that for now. You never even get to hear their name, which is not something that surprises me, because honestly, how would you even pull that off? They would have to find a way how to, enunciate the words that you put in, and that would just be much more work than it really needed to be, and probably would be.
She goes to the block.
Oh well, screw you.
I'm sorry. We'll make sure your remains are returned to Cyrodiil. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Well, I guess this is it for Celestia. I guess she came from Equestria to see what all this Skyrim fuss was about.
Some here in
And now she's gotten herself into a hell of a lot of trouble.
Use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp
There's
his
been
throne.
some Skyrim comics
started this war.
for
One
Skyrim My Little
into
Pony
chaos.
crossover comics,
And now the
which is
Empire's
really
going to
interesting.
put
But
you
I don't.
down
It's
and
not.
restore
It's
the
not
peace.
the best. It's not the best of the crossover fandoms that I've seen, but it's still kind of cool.
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last
I'm sure.
words.
I am sure somewhere there is a fan fiction of Celestia in Skyrim. If there is,
For the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over with.
well, he's gonna die.
As you wish.
Jeez. Calm down there, alright?
Come on! I haven't got all morning.
If there is a fan fiction out there of Celestia in Skyrim, I would love to read it. So if you know of one, let me know. Give me a link or whatever. And, yeah, hopefully I don't end up like that. That would be bad.
You Imperial bastards!
So right from the beginning, we can see that there's a lot of,
As fearless in death.
there's a lot of political upheaval between the Imperial of Cyrodiil and the natives of... I'm a renegade? Is that how they really spell it out?
Here it is again.
I mean, there's literally no reason for me to have to die in all of this.
Next prisoner.
Okay,
To the block,
fine.
prisoner. Nice and easy.
Jeez. I guess I'm gonna be dying. Now, mystery, magic, marvelous, disappear, body is gone. Or the body is not in the way. Maybe it was still there. I'm not sure.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries. What do you see?
It's in the clouds.
Dragon!
Yep, shit just got real.
Come on! The dogs won't give us another chance.
Alright.
This way!
Okay, Rayloff. We'll have it your way.
What is that thing? Could the legends be true?
Legends don't burn down villages.
Well, some do.
Now!
I don't know.
Up through the tower. Let's go!
I mean, for those who have played Magic the Gathering, legendary creatures have been known to... Oh, geez. Gotta watch out for that. Oh, come on. Your friend's dead, sorry.
See the inn on the other side?
Yeah?
Jump through the roof and keep going.
Alright.
We'll follow when we can.
Ow. My hands are still bound, so at the moment I can't pick up anything. Which is just as well, because, I mean, why would I want to?
Towards me! Hammond, you need to get over here! Now! Got him! You're doing great. Toro! Everyone get back! Still alive, prisoner? Keep close to me if you want to stay that way.
Oh, well, fuck
Gunnar, take care of
you!
the boy. I have to find General Tullius and join the defense.
Gods guide you, Admiral.
Oh, my goodness.
Stay close to the wall!
Trying. This is... I mean, this is really a cinematic entrance into Skyrim. And really, most games should follow this kind of, example of how of an intro of a game.
You and me, prisoner. Stay close.
I'm kind of reminded of Final Fantasy 13 in its beginning, and all of the cool scenes of the game were just handled in cutscenes.
We're escaping, Hadvar. You're not stopping us this time.
Fine. I hope that dragon takes you all to Sovereign Guard.
This is what you want, huh?
You, come on. Into the deep.
So, I know I have a dragon on my tail, throwing bodies around, and I should be really concerned. But at the same time, I need a moment of reflection. I can either go with Hadvar, who's the Imperial Alliance and the rightful technical Ishi-Mishi kind of rule of Skyrim, or I can go with the resistance. It doesn't matter either way, but I kind of dwelled over the question the first time I played. So we'll just go with Riloff.
Come on!
Celestia doesn't really take sides, you know? She's got her own people to worry about.
We'll meet again in Sovngarde, brother. Looks like we're the only ones who made it.
It looks like it.
That thing was a dragon, no doubt. Just like the children's stories and the legends. The harbingers of the end times. We better get moving. Come here. Let me see if I can get those bindings off. There you go.
Thank you.
May as well take Gunyar's gear. He won't be needing it anymore.
That's my punches.
Grab Gunyar's gear. No shame in borrowing a friend's axe.
No, there is no shame in borrowing a friend's axe, but I'm just getting reacquainted with all of the controls. There we go. I've got my flames, my healing, and the voice of the Emperor. Which is the only power. The voice of the Emperor is a power, and so it's the only power I have at the moment, so I might as well use it. And then I add my flames and my healing to my so that an Imperial luck. Anywhere gold coins might be found, Imperials always seem to find a few more. That always helps out with making your way around.
Grab Gunyar's gear.
Alright, fine, just calm down. So one of the things I don't like doing, I thought about doing when I was okay. Let me try this again. When I thought about doing a let's play for Skyrim, I kind of wondered.
And give that axe a few swings. I'm going to see if I can find some way out of here.
You do that. In the meantime, I'm going to get ready.
Let's see about that gate.
But I tried to figure about what could I do with a Skyrim Let's Play that no one else has done. And then I thought about it, and not very many people do Skyrim Let's Plays because of such a large size of it. There are some who do like, comedy bits and sketches and things.
Come on,
It's the
soldier,
Imperials.
keep moving.
Take cover.
Get this gate open.
But I wanted to do something just a wee bit more serious. I just wanted to do like an adventures. So we'll see how it will handle it. Nice!
Maybe one of these Imperials had the key.
Well, we'll take all of your stuff. We'll take all of your stuff.
Lock that door.
And since I was so good in making sure to take all that stuff first, now I get to run around and steal all the rest of the stuff. Yes, I did find a key. Thank you very much, but I'm a little busy at the moment. I'm looting the everythings. All of the things, I am looting them. See, look. We got a book. So here's the next part, is the question of what to do about books. I am going to read them all. And if that makes some videos longer, so be it. But I think there is so much wealth of information from these books that as long as it's not anything too mundane, I'll read it. So I already know some of the ones that are stories and some of the ones that are not, but we'll just start with this one. The book is called Mixed Unit Tactics in the 5 Years' War, Volume 1, by Kodas Kalanas. The legions could learn from the unconventional tactics used by the Khajiit in the 5 Years' War against Valenwood. I was stationed at the Sphinxsmith Legion Fort on the border near Dune and witnessed many of the northern skirmishes firsthand. The war started with so-called slaughter of Torval. The Khajiit claimed that the Bosmer invaded the city without provocation and killed over 1,000 citizens before being driven off by reinforcements from a nearby jungle tribe. The Bosmer claimed that the attack was in retaliation for Khajiiti bandits who were attacking wood caravans headed for Valenwood. In the spring of 3E396, the war moved closer to Fort Sphinxmouth. I was posted on lookout and saw parts of the conflict. I later spoke with both Khajiit and Bosmer who fought in the battle, and it will serve as an excellent example of how the Khajiit used a mixture of ground and tree units to win the war. The Khajiit began the fight in an unusual way by sending tree-cutting teams of Katherat and the fearsome Sencherat, or Battle Cats, into the outskirts of Valenwood's forests. When word reached the Bosmer that trees were being felled, allegedly a crime in the strange Bosmeri region, a unit of archers were dispatched from larger conflicts in the south. The Bosmer were thus goaded into splitting their forces into smaller groups. The Bosmer archers took up positions in the remaining trees, whose branches were now 20 or more feet apart, allowing some light into the forest floor. The Bosmer bent the remaining trees with their magic into small fortifications from which to fire their bows. When the tree cutters arrived the next morning, a half-dozen Khajiit fell to the Bosmer arrows in the first volley. After the Khajiit took large wooden shields from the backs of the Sencherat and made a crude shelter. The Khajiit, even the enormous Sencherat, were able to hide between this shelter and one of the larger trees. When it became apparent that the Khajiit would not leave their shelter, some Bosmer chose to descend and engage the Khajiit, sword to claw. When the Bosmer were nearly upon the shelter, one of the Khajiit began playing on a native instrument of plucked metal bars. This was a signal of some kind, and a small group of the man-like Ohms and Ohmsrat emerged from covered holes on the forest floor. Although outnumbered, they were attacked from behind by surprise and won the ground quickly. The Bosmer archers in the trees would have still won the battle were they not having troubles of their own. A group of Dagi and Dagirat, two of the less common forms of Khajiit who live in the trees of the Tenmar forest, jumped from one tree to another under a magical cover of silence. They took up positions in the higher branches that could not hold a Bosmer's weight. When the signal came, they used their claws and either torches or spells of fire. Accounts from the two survivors I spoke with vary on this point. To distract the archers while the battle on the ground took place, a few of the archers were able to flee, but most were killed. Apparently, the Dagi and Dagirat have more magical ability than is widely believed, if they were able to keep themselves magically silenced for so long. One of the surviving Bosmer told me that he saw a few ordinary cats among the Dagi, and even claimed that these ordinary cats are known as Alfik, and that they were the spellcasters. But Bosmer are almost as unreliable as the Khajiit when it comes to the truth, and I cannot believe that a house cat can cast spells. At the end of the day, the Khajiit lost perhaps a half-dozen fighters out of a force of no more than 4 dozen, while the Bosmer lost nearly an entire company of archers. The survivors were unable to report back before a second company of archers arrived, and this strategy was repeated again with similar results. Finally, a much larger force was sent, and the Bosmer won that battle with the help of the native animals of Valenwood. That third skirmish and the Khajiiti response I will discuss in the second volume of this series. So, from this first volume, we can learn a lot that the Khajiit and the Bosmer being the Wood Elves. I suppose I should have gone through each of the races one by one, but there's plenty of time to do that later. That's a door that goes out into Skyrim again, which we don't need to do because, F that noise. Give me that light helmet. I haven't decided how to play this character. I guess I'm just gonna go with whatever works. For now, I suppose we'll just do a right hand Imperial sword, and we'll use the heavy armor that we just got off of that horrid, undisputably terrible woman who was so quick to want to kill us earlier. One of the reasons why I went with the Stormcloaks was because I wanted to take my vengeance out on that person, especially. But, oh crap, that's right. So, seems like we're going to be fine. M2 to block, no. M2 is to shoot my fire. I did have an add-on where,
Let's get out of here.
alright, fine. I did have an add-on where I was able to,
Let's get out of here
block
before
with
the
a
dragon brings the
offhand
tower
weapon,
down
but I'm not
on
going to
our
use
heads.
that for this Let's Play. For one, because I believe it might have been causing some glitches, and two, because, again, this is going to be a much more vanilla Let's Play.
Damn, that dragon doesn't give up easy.
No, I guess he doesn't.
Grab everything important and let's move. Dragon's burning everything to the ground. The prisoners are escaping. You won't leave hell
Yeah, there we go. Gotta love those death kills.
A storeroom. See if you can find any potions. We'll need them.
Not only that, but we need to harvest plenty of everything. This is definitely the, well, to put it one way, this is the beginner's loot room. In the first, not first, I keep wanting to say the first, but it's not the first, but in the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Oh, we got another book. Let's take a second and read it. The Song of Pelinal, Volume 7. On his battle with Umaril and his dismemberment. Editor's note, volumes 1 through 6 are taken from the so-called Raman manuscript located in the Imperial Library. It is a transcription of older fragments collected by an unknown scholar of the early Second Era. Beyond this, little is known of the original sources of these fragments, some of which appear to be from the same period, perhaps even from the same manuscript. But as no scholarly consensus yet exists on dating these 6 fragments, no opinions will be offered here. And so, after many battles with Umaril's allies were dead. Oh, I'm sorry, where dead Aurorans lay like candlelight around the throne, the Pelinal became surrounded by the last Ayleid sorcerer kings and their demons. So I don't know what the Aurorans were. Umaril, I believe Umaril was one of the kings of the Empire. And the Ayleids are, I believe the Ayleids were kind of the high elves of long past. They were kind of an army that almost wiped out the Empire. But anyway, the White Strake cracked the floor with his mace, and they withdrew. And he said, "Bring me Umaril that called me out." And, while mighty in his aspect and wicked, deathless golden Umaril favored ruin from afar over... Okay, Umaril is not the king. Or maybe he is. I really... okay, how long is this story? It's pretty... This book is kind of hard to read. We're going to skip this one. But, gosh, I don't... There's so... This is what I was talking about when I said there's so much wealth of information and culture, from the stories of the Elder Scrolls, and there's certainly a lot to enjoy. I'm not playing on the the master difficulty, but since I am playing on Adept, I do want to take every precaution I can take. You're dead. Thank you.
Was Jarl Ulfric with you?
No, I haven't seen him since the dragon showed up.
Wait. Looks like... Ah, it's locked. See if you can get it open with some picks. We might need that gold once we get out. Grab anything useful and let's go.
Alright, alright.
In.
Now the lock picking.
Something in this cage. There's nothing to for them.
And now I'm encumbered. That's great. Well, before we continue, we'll get these other gates open. You want to take every chance you can. Oh, hey, there's a skeleton on that wall. I don't know if I ever noticed that skeleton on that wall. That's kind of cool. Is this skeleton lootable? No. No, he's not. What about the one on the wall? Is he lootable? No, he's not. And already we have to start dropping things because we just can't carry all this stuff. In Elder Scrolls Morrowind, that's what I was saying before. When you got to the beginning area, which one is sprint? Oh, alt is sprint. I don't like alt being sprint. Hold on one second. Alright, we're back. So I got my shift set to sprint, which I use a lot more. While I have alt set to walk, which I won't use unless I'm sneaking around. Oh gosh. A brief history of the Empire. It's not entirely that brief of a history, but I think the brief histories of the Empire will have to wait for another time. Let's what are we gonna do? What are we doing? Am I changing my apparel? Am I keeping the armor that I have? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Where's that shield? There's the shield. Pull that stuff out. Alright, let's read this one, because this one's actually, this is one of the books you have to find, so it's privy to the story, so we'll read this. The Book of the Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Wayne Priory. The Wayne Priory was in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. It's in Cyrodiil. It's where you go, basically to join the Blades. The Order of Talos being it's basically the Order of Talos was the name of the old king, and so not the king from Oblivion, but the king from before that. I think it's I'm a little hazy on that. There were a lot of kings, and then a lot of the kings had different names, but Talos was one of the kings of the Empire who people in Skyrim believed ascended to godhood, and so that's the Order of Talos. Year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius IV. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn Emperors. The Dragonborn Emperors meaning that in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, there is a protection between the mortal world and the worlds of Oblivion, which is set up by the Dragonborn Emperor who wears the amulet. At the end of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and I'm sorry if I am spoiling anything, but the last king dies of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and so that line is lost, and then there's no more emperors. But anyway, the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts, and in this book I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn, down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the blessed Saint Alicia, one of the divines, of course, was given the amulet of the kings, and the dragon fires in the Temple of One were first lit, which protect all of Cyrodiil, and I think the whole world, but I'm not entirely sure. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart and blessed Saint Alicia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alicia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavor to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra, or demons as they're sometimes more often known as, and undead to their enemies. The Daedra, loving Aelids, those blessed by Akatosh with dragon blood, became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the amulet of kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the empire have been dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the first Cyrodiilic Empire founded by Alicia, Remen Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs. Tiber Septim is Talos. He basically has the same name. Down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septim IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscure and largely forgotten by all but scholars and those of us dedicated to the service of the Blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realize that being Dragonborn is not a simple matter of heredity. Being the blessing of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become Emperor and light the dragon fires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things, or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we can say is that it is both and neither, a divine mystery. The line of Septims have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Cyrodiilic rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that Remen Cyrodiil was descended from Alicia, although there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Remen and likely attempts to legitimize his rule. We know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, who in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion you joined up with to fight the Oblivion and save the Empire, blah 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 blah. Originated in Akaviri, crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. Like they said, they appear to have been searching for a Dragonborn. The events at Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Remen Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as emperor, although Remen himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are two or more potential Dragonborn at any time, the current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this. Although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Remen's empire and the rise of Tiber Septim, many believe that the Blades continued to search out and guard those they believed were, or might be, Dragonborn during this time. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being Dragonborn. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days, when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days, being Dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that that was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of the Dragonborn heroes who were great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of the dragons they killed. Indeed, it was well known that the Akaviris sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion, and there is some evidence that this continued after they became Remen Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard. And again, the connection to dragons, the direct predecessor to the blades of today. I leave you with what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens had been fulfilled, and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place at the eight corners of the world, when the brass tower walks and time is reshaped, when the thrice blessed fail and the red tower trembles, when the dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding, the world eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last dragonborn. There's a few parts of this I wanted to point out. When misrule takes its place at the eight corners of the world, that's pretty much to say that all of the political corruption is happening right now, which we'll get into. There's a lot of between the high elves, which I cannot remember what they're called. I think they go by the name Akaviri in this game, but I can't remember exactly. But what the high elves, who basically are controlling the empire right now, is affecting all the eight corners of the world. The brass tower walks and time is reshaped, which I don't remember what that has to do with, but we'll probably learn throughout the game. When the thrice blessed fail and the red tower trembles, again, probably something we'll learn within the game. When the Dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls, that was basically what happened in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Actually, I think when the thrice blessed fail and the red tower trembles, I think that's the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Since the red tower kind of resembles the red mountain where Dagoth Ur, who was the bad guy of Elder Scrolls Morrowind, where he basically fell. And then, of course, when the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, and bleeding, which we'll learn about as this story progresses, the World Eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last Dragonborn, which is, well, no big surprise, but it's us. So I know that's a lot of reading, and I apologize if you guys weren't up to listening to a whole bunch of reading, but that's kind of what I love. I love the stories, and I promise I won't make a habit of stopping every single Let's Play to read a book. But some of them, like those, are rather important, and it would be a rather disservice. Excuse me. It would be a rather disservice to simply ignore it. The last time I played this game, I played as a big sword-wielding, heavy armored person, and I might play it more stealthy this time around just because there's a lot more benefits to it. But we'll see. We'll just see. I play these games on the tip of my tongue, and that's generally how I prefer it.
Orders are to wait until General Tullius arrives.
I'm not waiting to be killed by a dragon. We need to fall back.
Let's
Just
wait
give
for
the
my
general some
friends.
time. Dash to the Empire! Watch it!
Ah, yes. And now, for one of the newest additions. Oh, don't you run into it. That was terrible. Why did you do that? Yes, I know my magic is low, but he's dead. It's fine. Everything's fine. Alright?
Let's go on ahead. See if the way is clear.
see. I don't have the ability to carry much more, but I do want to grab the bows and arrows for later on. Again, it's not really worth carrying all the extra weight right now. I'm not going to make that much money off of it. It's pretty much just going to be my starting gold. And it's not worth crawling through here.
Let's see where this goes.
Alright. I'll let you do the opening. The story makes a lot more sense when you choose to go with Ralof in the beginning, though. I've done both, and I've noticed that it kind of seems weird when you go with Hadvar, because you have all of the Stormcloak people that you have to fight in here. Oh, yes.
That way now.
Sorry, guys.
Push on. The rest of them will have to find another way out.
I think there was only one. I'm pretty sure we just killed everybody else. Take your gold. Take that. Can't take the lantern. So you know what? Who's following who here? Okay? I'm the one in charge.
That doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
Guess we'd better try this way.
Alright. Just ease up, because now we're gonna start using our bow here to try to put the arrows on and a longbow. Let's see, here we go. Boom! Oh, that is gratifying. That is incredibly gratifying. Nice.
Those damn things. Too many eyes.
What's wrong? I think they're rather adorable. I mean, they're going to be the stuff of my nightmares, I'm sure, but I think they're incredibly adorable. They get so much of a bad rap just because they're spiders. Alright, take the spider eggs. Take some septums.
Come on, hurry up.
I am hurrying. You just hold your horses, okay, Ralof? I've had it up to here with your BS.
Hold up. There's a bear just ahead. See her?
Yeah, I see her.
I'd rather not tangle with her right now. Let's try to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow. And watch where you step. What next? Or if you're feeling lucky, you can take this bow. Might take her by surprise. Go ahead. I'll follow your lead and watch your back.
Amazingly enough, tipping that cart over had little to no effect. Where's the helmet? There's supposed to be a helmet here. Very nice. I'm doing quite a job of sneaking. There it is. There's the helmet. There we have the typical Dragonborn helmet. Yeah, I don't want to...
Sneaking is over.
Hey, I got my sneaking. I just also wanted to kill it. Do you have any problem with that, Ralof? All right, I'm just making the most out of it. I think Celestia would want to do that. I mean, I don't need your
Way
complaints.
out. I knew we'd make it.
Yep, so did I, because you know what? I've done this a million times before, Rayloff, and I know what I'm doing. You go ahead and have fun. Until next time, we're going to cut it off here, mostly just because I want to see how this recording did. But join us again next time on the next adventure of My Little Skyrim, which I guess was the name I came up with. But until next time, leave a like or comment below if you enjoyed the video. Of course, if you want me to do something in Skyrim, my plans right now are to tackle some of the things that I never really did before, and to definitely get into Falskar pretty much as quick as possible. Pretty much just let me know in the comments below, and please, no spoilers, obviously, but leave a comment below if you want to see something, and you know, we'll just make an adventure of this. Until next time,